So today we're going to be looking at the Mobius Mini V2. It's a small action camera. I decided to pick one up because I want to try flying around with it on one of my 3.5-inch or possibly even 2.5-inch quads. When I ordered this on eBay, I wasn't entirely certain that I was actually getting a Mobius product. Unfortunately, Mobius themselves don't seem to have any website or contact information, and the majority of the resellers that I found didn't speak of a V2 Mobius Mini, and I know that a lot of off-brand companies will make a clone of something and then call it the upgraded or V2 version, just so people don't question the subtle differences. Anyway, so when I got this, I got this nice little white box here. So we're going to open this up, and looking inside, we have a little piece of paper here. It says Mobius Action Cam, Mobius Mini V2 user manual. This does seem like a nice little user manual. I've also seen other Mobius products online, and they do come in this white box with a little magnet flap, so things are looking pretty good so far. Get this foam out of the way. Okay, we've got the camera here, and this is a cute little guy for sure. It's pretty tiny. You can take a look at the specs on online for the size. It appears that it's actually a tiny bit smaller than the original Mobius Mini. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is actually a Mobius product or not. There were a few things that I saw on one of the Mobius resellers' website that they were talking about for counterfeits for another version, and one of them was the counterfeit version has the timestamp in the lower right hand corner and it's yellow, and the original ones have a white timestamp in the lower left hand corner. Also, the battery on the counterfeit one is soldered to the board, and the original ones have a plug that go into the board. So we're going to be taking this apart and taking a look inside. Now, something I'm noticing here, I don't know if you can see this, but look at how that looks like it's bulged, and you actually see a split right here. I'm thinking that the battery in this might actually be defective, and this might be what's causing this to bulge out like this. We're gonna have to take a look inside and see what it looks like inside. But unfortunately, I might have gotten a defective camera. I'll have to contact the seller and see what they have to say about it. This came straight from China, so should be an interesting conversation. They usually are. Let's put this aside for now and see what else comes in the box. Got a little package here. I'm assuming we're going to get a charge cable, which we do. We get a little bit of Velcro, which is nice. We get a tripod mount, and then we get something I'm not immediately recognizing. It is a charge cable on this end, and it has various servo style connections on this end. This may be for powering it from a battery in a quad or a plane. That's interesting. Take a look at the manual real quick and see what they say about that. Alright, so in the manual, blah blah blah. Okay, just talks about the buttons and the switches. What it comes with, it calls it a TV cable. Okay, so this may be a video out cable. I'm not exactly sure how you would use that. And then we've got specs here. You can pause it and look if you'd like. A little bit about operating the camera, etc., etc. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on the charger. It just has a mini USB connector in the back. Put it on the charger. Actually, before I do, let me contact the seller and see what they have to say about this bulge, because I'm not even sure I want to charge this if the battery's bad. Okay, so I contacted the seller, and their first response, which of course usually is never, we'll just take care of the problem, but their first response is, don't worry about it because of how small this is. Yeah, they have to cram that battery in there, and it gives you more battery capacity, which is hilarious to me because clearly this was not designed to be this way, and none of the pictures I've seen online show a case bulging out like this. So let's actually just go ahead and pull this apart and see what the insides look like. We've got two little screws in the front here. There's also a piece of software that I'm going to download that you can connect this to and do firmware upgrades and things like that. I'll be curious, and that is a Mobius piece of software, and I'll be curious to see what it recognizes this device as. Alright, and let's see the shell. Okay, front's coming apart, and there we go. Alright, so here's the battery. It is plugged in with a connector. Let's pull this out. We got the SD card slot, and then it's all just a single board, kind of like I expected. Now, interestingly, this battery, it doesn't feel, well, it's not as flat as I would have expected. Okay, so it's 300 milliamp hour, 3.7 volt, of course. Got looks like a little bit of built-in protection. Yeah, I was kind of expecting to see this be swollen. It does feel thicker in the middle, but it's not swollen like I expected. Now, obviously, this isn't right, so I'm still going to be working with the seller to see if we can figure something out to maybe get this replaced or something, because I don't know if this is the wrong battery that was put in here or what. But I don't think I'm going to go much further than this. I'm not going to be able to see the sensor, and I don't really want to fiddle with this board. Yeah, it doesn't really want to come out. So, I don't know. I mean, it looks fine. I don't see any Mobius branding, but oh, that's interesting. Instead of having an RGB LED, they've got 4 different colored LEDs. So, I don't know, it might be a little bit of a cost-saving measure, but I mean, I'm sure it works fine. All right, let me go ahead and get this put back together, and I'm going to put this on the charger, and then what I want to do is I want to look online and see about, see how that just, there's no way to get that together, and that's not right. I mean, you got to really push down to even get the screws back in. Anyway, I'm going to look online, and I'm going to see if I can find a TPU mount to print out for one of my quads, or just a universal TPU mount for this. I know most people that talk about these talk about the V1 or the original one that's got the silver stripe around here, and I don't think that this is going to be compatible as far as a case will be concerned. So let me see what I can find, and I will let you know. Well, that came out ugly. I'm not sure if it's the TPU that I'm using or what. I haven't really done a lot of printing with TPU. I've tried a bunch of different settings to try and get rid of this stringing, and so far I have not been successful. I've got a different brand of TPU. This is the Amazon Basics TPU. I've got a different brand coming, and this is very, very soft. They don't say what the shore hardness is of it, but I think I'm just fighting the Bowden style on my printer and the really soft TPU. Anyway, let me get this cleaned up, and then we'll try it in the camera. Alright, well that's just going to be good enough for now. I don't plan on using this as the permanent solution anyway, so let's see if the camera fits in there. Alright, yeah, not bad. I can still get to the buttons, even though the it's pretty ugly, but I can still get to the buttons and see the lights and everything. So let me grab a quad, and I'll go ahead and get this mounted up, and then we're going to take it out and go for a flight. Okay, so final thoughts on the Mobius Mini V2 action cam. As you saw from the video, it takes really decent quality footage for what it is, how much it costs, and I think that it's decent value for the money, depending on what you're wanting to do. Downsides I see are there aren't a lot of pre-designed mounts for it. There are a few, but you're going to be limited as opposed to getting something like a Hero Session or something like that. The video quality isn't going to be as good as a Hero Session or any of the newer cameras that are coming out that are the square design. And its build quality is not going to be the best, so it may not hold up in crashes and things like that quite as well as something that's going to cost you several times more. Finally, do I think this is a real Mobius product? I'm going to say 80% likely I think it is. It comes in what is purported to be the normal Mobius box. The literature looks very reasonable. The build quality, other than the fact that I got a defective one because of the bulge here, build quality is good. And the website that I found that was talking about the fake larger version of this talked about two different main things. One was that the battery in the fake ones were soldered to the board, and this one has a connector. And the other one that they talked about was that the timestamp would be yellow and in the lower right hand corner, whereas on the real ones it's white and in the lower left hand corner. As you saw in the video, the timestamp for this is white and in the lower left hand corner. So I do think that this is a genuine Mobius product. I do wish that Mobius would put a little bit of effort into creating a website with even just basic information about their products, so people could go on there and just even take a look and see, okay, is this even a product from Mobius or not? But I don't know what their situation is, so I don't know if that'll ever happen. Anyway, for the price, I think I paid like 55 bucks for this. If it fits what you want to do, I think this is a good product. You might want to think about, if you're flying a 5-inch quad, you might want to think about buying a used Hero Session for $100. And if you're flying smaller quads, of course, you have the option for the 2-in-1 cameras. I don't really like the 2-in-1 cameras because I primarily fly for my experience, not for everybody else's, and I find that the 2-in-1 cameras so far have been fairly lacking in the quality of the FPV feed itself, so it just depends on what you're trying to do. Alright guys, well thanks for watching the video. Please take a look at my other videos, like, subscribe, and comment if you have any questions, and I will talk to you later.